Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to do today was to film what I've actually done to prepare for my trip on my 2009 R1200 GS Adventure. What modifications that I've made, what additions that I've done, what sort of servicing, all that type of thing. So if I start with an extended rack to take my Pelican case here, it has all of my electronics in there. So in here we have the drone batteries, the GoPro batteries here, my spots for the GoPros, the drone controller, the drone itself, my camera batteries, my lens, my camera and my tripod, and this all underneath has an inverter in there, and it's all wired up to a switch that is on my handlebars. Flick it on and it'll charge while I'm riding along, switch it off and it's off, and it's hardwired to the bike. Next along we've got other electronics, so I have a USB hub charger in the top here. That'll allow 4 outlets there, so I can charge up things like my two-way radio and any GoPros that I've got, and my phone, right from that one charging unit. Down here we've got, in the console here, we've got our Gibby tank lock system. You know, it'll house some extra electronics. I'll have a thing of milk, some tissues, my buff. It'll have some water in there. It's got the my spray bottle for my cleaning my helmet and visors and all those type of things. It'll have the cups and some sugar, spoons, gloves. In the top there I've got my map and any paperwork that we need for the trip. Hand sanitizer, very important, and also insect repellent, and also very, very important where we're going. Flies will be horrendous. Up here I've got my Garmin Zumo, and I've got a Uniden UHF 2 watt that'll cover a range of about 13 kilometres. And then I've got my GoPro Hero 7 Black. I've also got in here a Session 5, which will either go on my helmet, on the front of the bike, the back of the bike. I've got multiple spots that I can put them. In this bag here we've got all my camping equipment, like my tent, my sleeping bag, my sleeping pad, my pillow, and a number of other items for camping. In here has my tent poles, any bags that I might need, and just extra things that I need to take for the trip. So, and in there it'll have a pair of shorts, a pair of thongs, things that I can get out easy, a hat. It's got my chair, so with this particular thing I've got this anchored down via rock straps, and they release very, very easily. I've got a Helinox chair too, so nice comfortable chair, puts up in seconds. So yeah, so that's what my bag's going on. As all my clothes are in that side. So yeah, it's carrying a fair bit of weight. I'll set the preload for it and take it for a bit of a run and make sure it's running correctly. We did service the bikes recently. I've put brand new tyres on it. We've went with Metzeler Karoo 3s. Which is a fantastic option for on-road as well as off-road, with a reasonable chunk on them that will get through any sort of soft sand or loose surfaces that we might come across. So that's all good there. Here I've put some pussy grips, or the foam over grips on there, and also I have my Keiko throttle lock there, so that when we're on those long stretches I can lock the throttle on and she'll all be good. In terms of servicing the bikes, we've changed the air filter. I've got a uni filter on there now. And the uni filter actually comes with a couple of pre-filters, so I've got one pre-filter on there, and when we get to the Outback, particularly around Birdsville, I'll swap it over and I'll check its condition and then swap it over to put a fresh pre-filter on there. Yeah, they're a much better filter than what the standard filter is, particularly when you're going into very, very dusty and sandy locations. We've changed the oil filter, the oil, we've changed the gear oil, we've changed the plugs, we've changed the final drive, we've re-greased the final drive because that's something that can get quite dry, but we've re-greased that. We have checked the tappets and the timing chain, and we've changed the alternator belt. And you can see here, this is my tank bag. I've got my GoPro there. We've got our two-way radio, a Garmin Zumo 660. Got my phone here, and I can put I've actually got a universal quad lock mount for the drone controller, so I can actually have my phone on the controller and mount that in that same spot, so I can ride along and have the drones following us. So quite unique there. Over this side you can see the throttle lock there. Yeah, she's a great bike. This you know, it's done a few Ks now, nearly 160,000 Ks, but she's got plenty more left in her. It runs like a dream, an absolute dreamer. You know, these Metzler Karoos, a fantastic tyre. You know, you can see the chunks on those. Back wheel as well, gnarly looking things they are. And we've actually fixed the problem with the back bumper mudguard there. So hopefully won't be kicking up too many stones for Grant. And you can see there I've got the drone batteries with the bracket. Our controller here, the GoPro Session 5, the other GoPro which is already on the bike, and my camera goes in here, the camera mount for the tripod, the lens and batteries there, everything charges, and of course I can lock it when I need to. So, there we are. But anyway, there we are. That's our setup for our Outback Queensland trip, and she runs really, really well. I've had no issues with it, and since we've done the service, it's just been fantastic. So yeah, so essentially all ready to go. Everything's packed, just waiting for tomorrow morning, and then we'll take off.
Time for a service for both bikes before the trip. Final drive service on the bikes. Paul's doing spark plugs, and we're going to do valve clearances. Servicing the drive shaft, gearbox and diff oil change. Okay, both final drives done on the bikes. While I was servicing my bike, I found that the male quick release coupling from the fuel pump on the fuel feed line had broken, the old plastic one, and $52.84 later we had a brand new stainless one, new O-ring, fitted that, no more leaks. Lucky I found it at home and not out at Birdsville. Just a quick overview on the kit on my bike. It's fitted with the Vario panniers, pretty standard for those road going GS's. We've got the BMW tank bag and also the duffel bag, which attaches quite neatly on the bike. And the panniers are pretty useful because I'm carrying 10 litres extra of fuel in the left one, so that gives me a total of 30. There's the tent I'll be using. It's a Spinifex Nicara 3-man tent, and it all fits nice and neatly in the BMW Motorrad gear bag. Hepco and Becker crash bars on this thing. I've had them for quite a few years. They're pretty good in case we fall off. Protect the engine underside here. SW Motec bash plate does the underside protection. Protect those headers, which are pretty exposed, and the Hepco and Becker protecting the rocker covers. Right, a couple of things I've fitted to the bike before the trip. 12-volt socket on the bars, which will run into the tank bag. And you can also see how many volts and amps. So we've got 13.2 in that because it's got a lithium battery on the bike. 12-volt socket here. One more accessories. GPS. Just an old Garmin Zumo. Does the job. Quad lock mount fitted for the phone. The tyres have gone for a bit of a mix. I've got the Metzeler Karoo 3s on the front because that's what I had, and on the rear I've got the new Michelin Anarchy Wild, just to see how it goes. A couple of extra strips of Velcro are added just to keep that tank bag from wandering all over the place. Stone guards fitted for the oil cooler. If you're wondering how the Vario panniers are going to handle it off-road, well, I've done heaps of trips with them. They're expandable, they're lockable, they're dustproof, waterproof, and I'm a pretty careful rider. Well, mostly. Stay tuned for part 2, beginning of our 9-day Outback Queensland adventure. We head from the Gold Coast out to Mooney Gully Pub. We'll pick up Owen and his Africa twin on the way. Cheers, and we'll see you soon.